He's known really as the brother of the late and beautiful Princess Diana, our former Princess of Wales. But is really that the only thing Earl Spencer, Charles Spencer, is truly known for? As ever, let me explain. Morning, nice to see you today, and as ever, thank you so much for taking the time out to join me. It's much appreciated. Welcome one and all, as I often like to say. You all right today? Yeah, well, I'm not bad. Yes, you keep battling on, don't you? Whatever. It's another day. It's spring. We should be thrilled. Apparently, winter's over, the dark days are behind us, and we can look forward to cocktails on the balcony. Well, on the couch probably. Well, yeah, cup of tea. Well, if you can afford to boil a kettle, I know it's frightening, isn't it? When you get your electric bill and you think, how much? What have I had on? And then you start measuring everything, thinking, how much electricity does that take? One tip I can tell you, by the way, is do turn off your switches if you can, because I know it's difficult to get down and, they're placed in different things and all that sort of stuff. But those that can be turned off, like toasters, kettles, all that stuff, do turn them off. They're still drawing energy. Oh yeah, I learnt that one. I didn't know. Did you? You did know. Well, of course, you look the sort, obviously, but Back to Charles Spencer, Earl Spencer. Been lucky enough to meet him on many occasions. A lovely man, very down to earth, and obviously because of his connection to the royal family and, of course, his sister, the Princess of Wales, everybody wants to chat to him, When you go to events, he really is magnetic, he can draw people in. And he's got a nice personality to him, which isn't really put out across that well with the media over the years, as one can imagine. But what's interesting is he recently wrote a book, and it's a rather revealing book, all about his time at a boarding school, of which he said he had the most horrendous time, including abuse. It's a very dark read in places, but in other places quite fun too. A lot of light and shade from the Earl there. But what was fascinating, meeting him, of course, recently, he pointed out that, in fact, the book has opened so many different doors because he's been deluged with people writing to him out at Althorp, basically saying they went through the same thing, And at first he did wonder whether he should or not, reveal the difficult times that he'd had in school days. After all, he pointed out that many people go through very similar difficult situations in their early schooling years. None, though, so it seems, as horrific as what he went through himself on a personal level. And he even pointed out that apparently his late sister, Princess Diana, was no fan of the boarding school, sort of background situation. Of course, we're not here to say yes or no, but the reason why I wanted to ask that particular thing was he's also getting quite a bit of backlash, trolls, the sort of thing, the bullies, as I like to call them, behind the scenes. And the bottom line was, he said at first he didn't know if it was a good or a bad idea to be that honest, but he couldn't tell the story without being honest. And so, as ever here on this show, I throw it open to you and say, was Charles Spencer right to reveal so much? He's gone on record now with various interviews, including the BBC and American television, basically saying that the early school days were horrid for him. But he said, he's felt that because he's revealed so much, this has truly helped so many other people. And that really was part of the aim of the game. Now, some people could be unkind and say he's just selling a book, that sort of stuff. He doesn't need the money, let me tell you. He's there sharing his story. He's a very successful podcaster and manages the family stately home with great aplomb. No two ways about it. And as I said, on top of all that, a nice man. But it has quite divided a lot of fans. And as ever here on this show, it's always good to get other people's opinions. Please be nice, kind, and of course very respectful. As I say, there's no need to be negative about this particular story. But if you've read some of the interviews, you will note, of course, that it's pretty dark in many different places. As ever, I look forward to seeing them in the comments below. Neil Sean, Parliament, London.